Hi friends, today we are going to discuss GST revision lecture for CA Inter students with MCQs and problems. See, first of all, tax divided into two types, indirect tax and direct tax. GST comes under the category of indirect tax. So here indirect tax means the person paying the tax to the government collect the same from the customer. So, the person paying the tax to the government collect the same from the ultimate consumer. Thus, incident of the tax is shifted to other person. So, in indirect tax, incident of the tax is shifted to other person means consumer. Next, direct tax. Income tax, interest tax, expenditure tax, etc. comes under direct tax. So, in direct tax, the person paying the tax to the government directly bear the incident of the tax. So, in indirect tax, incident of the tax is shifted to other person, but in direct tax, directly bear the incident of the tax. Okay? Now we will see how the GST journey starts. So, in 2000, Prime Minister introduced the concept of GST and set up a committee to design a GST model for the country. And next, budget of 2006-7, Union Finance Minister announced that GST would introduce from 1st April 2010. Okay? 2014, Constitution Bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha. 122nd Amendment. In 122nd Amendment, Constitution Bill was introduced in Lok Sabha. Okay? And next, August 2016, the Constitution 101 Amendment Act was enacted. And next September 2016, first GST Council meeting started. And next March 2017, GST Council recommends CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST and Compensation Cess Bill. And in April 2017, CGST, IGST, UTGST and Compensation Cess Acts passed. May 2017, GST Council recommends all the rules. 30th June 2017, all states except Jammu and Kashmir passed their SGST Act. So finally, 1st July 2017, GST launched. And in 8th July 2017, SGST Act passed by Jammu and Kashmir, CGST and IGST ordinance promulgated to extend GST to Jammu and Kashmir. So like that GST journey continues. Next, features of indirect tax, that is GST features. First, an important source of revenue. So major source of revenue for governments comes under the indirect taxes only. In India, more than 50% of the total tax revenues of central and state governments. So next, tax on commodities and services. So tax on commodities at the time of manufacture, purchase, sale, import, export. Okay? And next, services, that is provisional services. Next is shifting of burden. For example, GST paid by the supplier of the goods is recovered from the buyer by including the tax in the cost of the commodity. Even though GST paid by the supplier, but it is recovered from the buyer in the form of tax, but the tax included in the cost of commodity only. Next, no perception of direct pinch. Most of the time, consumers or taxpayers pay the tax without knowing that he is paying tax. because the tax is included in the cost of commodity. That's why most of the times they don't know paying the tax also. So next, inflationary. Tax imposed on commodities and services causes an all-round price spiral. So inflationary means, for example, the cost of the milk increases. The products of the milk like chocolates, tea, etc., those item prices also increases. Okay. Next, wider tax base. Majority of the products or services are subject to indirect taxes with low thresholds. So because of that, it is a wider tax. Next, promote social welfare. Higher tax imposed on the consumption of harmful products like tobacco, alcoholic products. The intention of increasing the tax on these harmful products because to reduce the consumption of these harmful products. So there may be a chances to reduce the consumers. And next, regressive in nature. So here, while paying the taxes of indirect tax, the rich and poor have to pay the same rate of indirect taxes on certain commodities of mass consumption like groceries. Okay. So the next concept of GST. The main concept of GST is value added tax. So here value added tax means tax levied on manufacture, sale and consumption of goods and services. Okay. Next, continuous chain of tax credits. So here continuous chain of tax credits means continuous chain of tax credit from producer point to up to consumer point. So from every stage of supply chain, taxing only on the value added item. Okay. Next, burden borne by final consumer. So the supplier at each stage avail credit of GST paid on the purchase of goods and services and can set off these credit against the GST payable on supply of goods and services to be made by him. So because of this, final consumer bears the tax. So next, no cascading of taxes. So here under GST, tax is collected on value added at each stage. So no tax on tax or cascading of taxes under GST. For example, Nike shoes cost 4,000. So excise duty 1,000. So 5,000 and profit 5,000. So total 10,000. So earlier tax is imposed on this amount. So in this amount already included excise duty tax. So tax on tax. So earlier cascading of taxes. So to remove this, the main concept of GST. Okay. To remove cascading of taxes. And next, GST Common Portal. So GST Common Portal managed by a Section 8 company called GSTN. So www.gstgovernnin and services provided by GST Council, GST Common Portal. So services provided by GST Common Portal on registration of GST and next paying of GST, filing returns. So these all are services provided by GST Common Portal. So mainly GST Common Portal for taxpayers, government officials and GST practitioners. So GST Common Portal managed by Section 8 company. called GSTN, and services provided to taxpayers, government officials, and GST practitioners, like services like registration, paying tax, file returns, etc. Okay, next GST Council. See fifth MCQ. The functions of GST includes facilitating registration, forwarding the returns to central and state authorities, computation and settlement of IGST, all of the above. Option D is correct. Okay. Next GST Council. GST Council formed under Article 279 of the Constitution. President gave his assent to the particular council. Okay. The members of GST Council are State Finance Minister and representatives. And GST Council defines GST rates, exemptions, thresholds, etc. So GST Council resolve disputes between central government and state government also. And next, taxes subsumed in GST. So in central taxes, the taxes which are subsumed in central taxes, central excise duty and additional excise duties, service tax, excise duty under medicinal and toilet and preparation act, CVD and special CVD, central surcharges and cess insofar as they relate to supply of goods and services. Okay, next, taxes subsumed in state taxes, state surcharges and cess insofar as they relate to supply of goods and services. And next, entertainment tax, and next, tax on lottery, betting and gambling, and next, entry tax and purchase tax, and next, VAT or sales tax, and next, luxury tax and tax on advertisements. Okay. CMCQ number 1. Which of the following taxes have been subsumed in GST? Central sales tax, central excise duty, VAT, all of the above. So, in GST subsumed all the taxes. So, option D is correct. Okay. And next, benefits of GST. So, first, benefits to economy. In that, creation of unified national market. So the main aim of GST to make India a common market with common tax rates and procedures and removal of economic barriers. Boost to Make in India initiative. So here, goods and services produced in India competitive in the national as well as international market. Okay. Next, enhanced investment and employment. So here, by subsuming the central and taxes in GST, central and state taxes in GST, it reduces the cost on manufacturing goods and services. Okay. By subsuming the central and state taxes in GST, reduce the cost on manufacturing goods and services. Okay. And increase the competitiveness of Indian goods and services in international market. And thus gives boost to investment and exports. Okay. Because of this, more employment generated. So GDP increases, gross domestic product increases. So and next benefit, advantages for trade and industry. In that, benefits to agriculture and industry. So here, by subsuming the central and state taxes in GST, it reduces the tax burden on an average dealer in industry, trade and agriculture. Okay. Next, mitigation of ill effects of cascading. So, after GST, removed this effect by subsuming most of the central and state taxes into a single tax, that is GST. Okay. Next, benefit to small traders and entrepreneurs. So, GST has increased the threshold limit for small businesses and single registration is needed in one state. Small businesses have also been provided composition scheme and also with the creation of a seamless national market across the country. So, small entrepreneurs have an opportunity to expand their national footprint with minimal investment. Next, easy tax compliance. So, in that automated automated procedure with greater use of it. So here by using the IT simplified various procedures such as registration, returns, refunds, tax payments, etc. So and all interaction through GST common portal. Less public interface between taxpayer and tax administrator. Okay? And next, reduction in compliance cost. So after GST, multiple record keeping for variety of taxes is not needed because of this lesser investment and manpower. Okay. Next benefit of GST and last benefit of GST, simplified tax structure. So in that easy of doing business. So there may be a fewer exemptions and reduction in multiple taxes in GST has led to simplification and uniformity. Because of this, doing business is easier. Okay. And next, certainty in tax administration. So, common system of classification of goods and services ensures certainty in tax administration across India. Okay. Benefits of GST over. Next, constitutional provisions. So here the Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. It consists of a preamble, 25 parts containing 448 articles, 12 schedules. So here Article 265 says no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. Okay. Next Article 245. So here 245 article deals with relationship between the union and states. So in this 245 article, Parliament may make laws for whole or any part of the territory of India and legislature may make laws for whole or any part of the state. Okay. Next article 246. So here in 246 article, unless constitution given power, government cannot collect tax. Okay. There are three lists. Union list, state list, concurrent list. So, in union list, matters related to central government, and in state list, matters related to state government, and in concurrent list, matters related to both central government and state government. Okay. 246A article says power to make laws with respect to GST has been conferred by Article 246A of the Constitution, that is 101 Amendment Act 2016. Article 269A says levy and collection of GST on interstate supply. So that is between the states. Next Article 279A. So here GST Council constituted by President of India. So in GST Council, Union Finance Minister is the chairman. Okay, next dual GST. CMCQ number 2. List 1 of the Constitution contains matter in respect of which dash has the exclusive right to make laws. So here central government has the right to make laws. Okay. Option A is correct. CMCQ number 6. Which article of the Constitution outline the composition and functions of the GST Council? 279A. Okay, option B is correct. Next, dual GST. So, India has adopted a dual GST model in view of the federal structure of the country. So, here federal means relationship between central and state. So, that is distribution of legislature, administrative and executive powers between Union and States of India. Okay? So in dual GST, center and state simultaneously levy GST on taxable supply of goods or services or both. So now the center also has the power to tax within the state sales, and states are also empowered to tax services. So GST extended to whole of India including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay? CMCQ number 3. GST is levied on supply of all goods and services except option A, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So option A is correct. GST is levied on all supply of goods and services, but on alcoholic liquor for human consumption, GST is not levied. Okay? CMCQ number 4. On petroleum crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, natural gas and aviation turbine fuel, GST will not be levied at all, option A, and option B, GST will be levied from a date to be notified on the recommendation of the GST Council. So here option B is correct. Okay. See, once finish the lecture, answer these questions. I already discussed these questions in the lecture. So once finish the lecture and you must and should answer these questions. If any doubt in these questions, then message me. Okay friends? See the second chapter, that is supply in GST. Okay? In this chapter mainly we will discuss two sections, that is section 7 and section 8. So here section 7 says meaning and scope of supply. So there may be some includes and excludes in supply. So first of all, see includes. So in section 7 subsection 1 class A says about supply for consideration in course or furtherance of business. Here supply means sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, disposal, etc. So here this all are includes for consideration only and also in business. Okay? And next section 7 subsection 1 class B says about importation of services for consideration whether or not in course or furtherance of business. So here import services must be in consideration, but either for business or personal purpose will be treated as supply. Okay? Must import services and for consideration only. It may be personal or business. Okay? And next section 7 subsection 1 class C supply without consideration. So here there may be no consideration. It will be treated as supply. But here supply in the course or furtherance of business only, and also supply from related person or established distinct person. Okay? So normally if there is no consideration then there is no supply, but it is an exception. Without consideration also it is treated supply. So there may be some conditions. So permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC has been claimed. Okay? And next one, supply between related person or distinct person. So here related person means same family, that is spouse, children and family, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters of the person, but dependent on him, or distinct persons. So distinct person means obtain more than one registration. Okay? And supply between principal and agent. And next last condition, importation of services without consideration from related person or distinct person in course or furtherance of business, then it will be treated as supply. So other cases, that is personal services, not supply. So after satisfying these four conditions, even though without consideration, it will be treated as supply in section 7 subsection 1 class C. Okay. Next, see, there are some amendments in this section 7 subsection 1 class C. Now we will discuss that amendments. See, section 7 subsection 1 class C, in the point of importation of services. So here before amendment, import of services by taxable person. See, importation of services by a taxable person from a related person or any of his other establishments outside India. So here in this point, after amendment, importation of services by a person from a related person or any of his other establishments outside India in the course or furtherance of business. So here person includes unregistered person also. So before amendment, only import of services by a taxable person. Okay, that is registered person. So even though importation of services from unregistered person is treated as supply. Okay. See, another amendment in supply between principal and agent. See, principal, agent and customer. See, in this case, agent providing services to customer on behalf of principal. So in this case, invoice issued by the agent in the name of principal, then it is not supply. But if invoice issued in agent name, then it is supply. So then supply from principal to agent is taxable. Okay. If invoice issued in principal name, then it is not supply, not taxable. So here invoice issued by agent to customer, it includes aggregate turnover of agent. Aggregate turnover of agent. So value of supply from agent to customer included in aggregate turnover of agent. Okay. See, in the case of deliquidatory agent, so in this case, agent also guarantees or takes responsibility for the credit extended to the buyer. Okay. So in this case also, invoice issued in agent name, it is supply. If principal's name, it is not supply. Okay. See here, principal, agent and customer. See, principal, sale of goods worth 1 lakh. See, further, invoice in A's name, that is agent name, supply of goods worth 1 lakh to customer. See, in deliquidatory agent cases, agent guarantees principal with dues from customer. So in this case, agent pays amount to principal before receiving the amount from customer. So 1 lakh worth goods, pay the amount to principal. See, further receiving from customer to agent, sale value plus interest, that is 1 lakh plus 2000. So here this interest included in value of supply or not? Included in value of supply or not? So if agent is covered in schedule 1, subsequently issue invoice in agent own name, then this 2000 will be treated as value of supply. Okay? If subsequently issue invoice in principal name, then it is not supply. Okay? See question number 10. Examine whether the following activities would amount to supply under section 7. Read with schedule 1 of the CGST Act. See, Sulekha Manufacture have a factory in Delhi and a depot in Mumbai. Both these establishments are registered in respective state. Finished goods are sent from factory in Delhi to Mumbai depot without consideration so that the same can be sold. See, this activity would amount to supply under section 7 with schedule 1 of the CGST Act or not? See, in section 7(1)(c), supply without consideration, that is deemed supply in schedule 1. So without consideration also treated as supply, and from related person or distinct person, if any supply, it is also treated as supply. In this case, supply between distinct persons. So it comes under the category of deemed supply. Okay? And see next question. Raman is an architect in Chennai. His brother, who is settled in London, is a well-known lawyer. Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost with regard to his family dispute. See, in this case, supply between related persons. See here, in this case, his brother who is settled in London is a well-known lawyer. So, in related person category, his brother not dependent. So, this person not comes into the definition of related. Okay? Related means same family, that is spouse, children, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters of the person dependent. So here his brother, not dependent Raman. So it is not a supply. Okay? And also in course or furtherance of business, it is supply. So in this case, personal services, so it is not a supply. His brother who is settled in London is a well-known lawyer. So he is not a related person. And Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost with regard to his family disputes, not in course of business. So it is not a supply. Okay? And next, see, would your answer be different if the above case Raman has taken advice in respect of his business unit in Chennai? No, because service not imported from a related person. So in this case also it is not treated as a supply according to section 7 subsection 1 class C. Okay? CMCQ number 2. Dash specifies the activities to be treated as supply even if made without consideration. See, schedule 1 of the CGST Act. So option A is correct. Okay? Next, section 7 subsection 1 A. So activities or transactions to be treated as supply of goods or supply of services in schedule 2. So here supply of goods includes transfer of business assets permanently, and in services, lease services, treatment or process, construction or renting services, and transfer of right. Okay. So and also here supply possession may be transferred immediately but title transferred at a future date in case of sale on approval basis or hire purchase. So these cases also it will be treated as supply. Okay. See, there is an amendment in this section 7 subsection 1a. See, for example, lessor and lessee, sublessee. Ramesh has a property. He leased out for 1 lakh to Suresh. So in this case, Suresh furtherly transferred to it Mahesh, that is sublease, for more than 1 lakh. So here Suresh transfer of tenancy rights. Furtherly, Ramesh asking Suresh, please vacate and I will give you some amount. So this amount will be treated as supply. So transfer of tenancy rights is subject to GST. Okay. See, 11th question. State whether the following supplies would be treated as supply of goods or supply of services as per the Schedule 2 of the CGST Act. Renting of immovable property. See, it is supply of goods or supply of services according to Schedule 2. It is supply of service. Okay. Next, option B. Goods forming part of business assets are transferred or disposed by or under direction of person carrying on the business, whether or not for consideration. See here, goods forming part of business assets are transferred. So here it is a supply of goods. And next, see, transfer of rights in goods without transfer of title in goods. Only transfer rights. So it is a supply of service. And next, option D, and transfer of title in goods under an agreement which stipulates that property shall pass at a future date. See, option D is supply of goods. Okay. See question number 13. Whether goods are supplied on a hire purchase basis will be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. Just I already discussed in Schedule 2. In case of sale on approval basis or a hire purchase basis, it will be treated as supply. Okay. See MCQ number 6. Which of the following activity is a supply of service? Transfer of right in goods or undivided share in goods without transfer of title in goods. Or option B, transfer of title in goods, and option C, transfer of title in goods under an agreement which stipulates that property shall pass at a future date. And option D, all of the above. See here, option A is correct. Transfer of right in goods or undivided share in goods without transfer of title in goods, it is treated as a supply of services. Okay. And see the question number 9. Whether transfer of title and or possession is necessary for a transaction to constitute supply of goods. See, just we finished the concept of Schedule 2, that is activities or transaction to be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. Okay. See, there is an amendment in this section 7 subsection 1a. See, for example, lessor and lessee, sublessee. Ramesh has a property. He leased out for 1 lakh to Suresh. So in this case, Suresh furtherly transferred to it Mahesh, that is sublease, for more than 1 lakh. So here Suresh transfer of tenancy rights. Furtherly, Ramesh asking Suresh, please vacate and I will give you some amount. So this amount will be treated as supply. So transfer of tenancy rights is subject to GST. Okay? Excludes. So includes over, next excludes in supply. Section 7 subsection 2 class A. Negative list, that is schedule 3. So in this negative list, services by employee in course of employment, it will not treated as supply, and court or tribunal services also not treated as supply, and services by elected representatives, that is MPs, MLAs, etc., and appointed by constitutional authority, that is presidents, governors, and members of a government body, RBI, SEBI. So members are RBI, SEBI, etc. So if these persons are providing any services, that comes under the list of negative. Okay, schedule 3. So those services will not be treated as supply. And also services related to deceased persons also comes under negative list. And sale of land, sale of building after completion, so it is also comes under negative list. And next one, final one, all actionable claims, but except betting, lottery, gambling. Okay, so all actionable claims comes under negative list, but betting, lottery, gambling are not comes under negative list. And see, there is an amendment, that is new addition to schedule 3. Schedule 3, grant of alcoholic liquor license by a central government for consideration. Consideration may be in the form of license fee or application fee, by whatever name it is called, not supply. Okay, see, there is an important note, grant of license to privileges, mining rights, natural resources, etc., provided by government for consideration or considered as supply. So government providing services for consideration considered as supply and taxable under RCM under section 9 subsection 3. Okay, see, if any services provided by the government, it is covered RCM, taxable by the recipient. Okay, see MCQ number 3. Which of the following activities outside the scope of supply are not taxable under GST? See option A, services by an employee to the employer in the course or in relation to his employment. So it is not taxable supply under GST. And next, services of funeral, it is also not taxable under GST. And next, actionable claims other than lottery, betting and gambling, so it is also not taxable under GST. So option D is correct, all of the above. And section 7 subsection 2 class B, activities or transactions notified by the government. So here, interstate movements of various modes of conveyance between distinct persons, including trains, buses, trucks, etc. But there is an exception in this. So in case where such movement is for further supply of same conveyance. So for example, trains, buses, trucks. So these all are manufacturing and selling. So exclusively manufacturing and selling business of trains, business, trucks, etc. not comes under the section 7 subsection 2 class B. Okay. So and also interstate movements of rigs, tools and spares and all goods on wheels. So like cranes. So these all are also not treated as supply. But there may be an exception where movement of such goods is for further supply of same goods. So there are two conditions in section 7 subsection 2 class B. So first condition, interstate movement of various modes of conveyance between distinct persons. So that is trains, buses, trucks, etc. And interstate movement of rigs, tools and spares and all goods on wheels like cranes. So these all are not treated as supply. But there may be exceptions. So in exceptions, such movement for further supply of the same conveyance or where movement of such goods is for further supply of same goods. So these two exceptions comes under the category of supply. Okay. Section 7 is over. Both includes and excludes. Next, see some more amendments in supply chapter. Section 252. Goods means every kind of movable property other than money and securities, but includes actionable claim, growing crops, grass and things attached to or forming part of the land, which are agreed to be served before supply or under a contract of supply. Okay. And in section 212, services means anything other than goods, money and securities, but includes activities relating to use of money or its conversion by cash or by any other mode from one form of currency or denomination to another form of currency or denomination for which a separate consideration is charged. So there is an amendment. So securities are excluded from goods and services as per the definitions. Okay. But facilitating or arranging transactions in securities is liable to GST. Okay. Services includes facilitating or arranging transactions in securities. Okay. So securities are excluded from goods and services as per definitions. Facilitating or arranging transaction in securities is liable to GST. See another amendment. Donations. See, when we went to the temples, in temples there is a list of donors names. So these people are giving donations not for personal benefit but for religious or charitable purpose. We display donor's name out of gratitude. So for this there is a clarification. So display of donor name in the recipient institution premises is not a supply of service, but only if recipient is a charitable or non-profit organization. Amount paid is strictly in the form of gift or donation for philanthropic purpose. It is an acknowledgement to show gratitude. It is not for giving publicity to donor to advertise, promote business. So it is not supply. Okay. And next, samples. Free of cost, not a supply. So goods or services are both which are supplied free of cost, that is without any consideration, shall not be treated as supply under GST. Okay. And next, buy one get one free. For this there is a clarification. It is not an individual supply of goods but a case of two or more individual supplies bundled together. So taxability of such a supply will be dependent upon as to whether the supply is a composite supply or mixed supply, and the rate of tax shall be determined as per the provisions of section 8 of the CGST Act. So taxable as per section 8. Okay. CMCQ number 1. Which of the following is not a supply as per section 7 of the CGST Act? See option A. Management consultancy services not in course or furtherance of business. Option B. Import of service for consideration not in course or furtherance of business. Both A and B. Or D. None of the above. See here. Which of the following not a supply as per section 7 of the CGST Act? Option A. Management consultancy service is not in course or furtherance of business. Okay. Option A is correct. See 7th question. What is the taxable event under GST? See, supply of goods or supply of services are both taxable under GST. See, intra-state supplies, that is within the state supplies, taxable under SGST or UTGST, and interstate supply, that is between the state, taxable under IGST. Okay. Next, section 8. See, composite supply in section 8. So composite supply apply GST rate on principal supply. So in composite supply, first identify if the products or services are naturally bundled. So then in that identify the principal supply. So after that apply the GST rate of principal supply on value. Okay. For example, phone, charger. These two items are naturally bundled. So in that principal supply is phone. So apply the GST rate of phone for both the products. Okay. Next, mixed supply. So here when two are more artificially bundled, apply the highest rate of the two. So for example, mixing of different items like pencil, scale, tables and chairs. So In that, apply highest tax rate of the two. Okay. Okay. Section 8 is over. See question number 12. Determine whether the following supplies amount to composite supply. I just discussed how to find composite supply. There are 3 steps. First, identify naturally bundled or not, and next identify principal supply and apply the rate of principal supply on value. In this case, a hotel provides 4 days 3 nights package. This is a naturally bundled, wherein the facility of breakfast and dinner is provided along with the room accommodation. So, room accommodation is the principal supply. So, apply the GST rate of room accommodation on total. Okay. Next, see the B. A toothpaste company has offered the scheme of free toothbrush along with toothpaste. It is also naturally bundled. Comes under the category of composite supply. Apply the GST rate of principal supply on value. Okay. In this case, principal supply toothpaste. Apply the GST rate of toothpaste along with toothbrush. Okay. See MCQ number 5. A dash supply comprising of 2 or more supply shall be treated as the supply of that particular supply that attracts higher rate of tax. See option A composite and option B mixed. See option B is correct. Mixed supply that attracts higher rate of tax. Okay. See MCQ number 4. On petroleum crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, natural gas and aviation turbine fuel. GST will not be levied at all, option A, and option B, GST will be levied from a date to be notified on the recommendation of the GST Council. So, here option B is correct. Okay. See question number 8. What is the tax treatment of composite supply and mixed supply under GST? Just we finished the concept of section 8. So, answer this question as your own. Okay friends, in next lecture we will see remaining chapters. I hope this video will help you in your exams. Okay friends, do well, all the best, bye.